Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamsin Entertainment, and welcome to the conversation. Today on Throwback Thursday, we're looking at Seven Samurai, directed by Akira Kurosawa and starring Toshiro Mifune. Hopefully I'm not butchering those names, I'm sorry if I am. Seven Samurai is the inspiration for the Magnificent Seven, and possibly down the road I'll do a comparison of the two. I was thinking about this as I was watching Seven Samurai. I don't know how much comparison there possibly can be, because it's just two different styles of the same story when you really boil it down. But I don't know, we'll see. I remember seeing Magnificent Seven when I was a little kid. I don't really remember much as a little kid, but I just hear it's a good movie. Maybe we'll just watch it and just review it on its own instead of trying to compare it. But let's get into the actual review of Seven Samurai. Be prepared to be transported back in time to the 16th century of Japan during a civil war. The story revolves around this one village that is suffering because bandits keep on coming and stealing their crops. Sometimes, unfortunately, they steal their women and children too. And the government, well, there's a civil war going on, so unfortunately this village is being left behind and forgotten. They have to fend for themselves. And the opening to this, it shows the bandits first, but then when it goes to the villagers, it's really kind of heartbreaking how downtrodden and beaten and broken they are, and how they're just about to give up. There's one woman in there that says we should just give them everything that we have and just hang ourselves. It's really the acting is superb in this. It is top rate. I don't even consider it acting. Like I said at the beginning, be prepared to be transported to the 16th century of Japan, because this just looks like Akira Kurosawa had a time machine, went back, and just sat the camera down on this village and followed them around. Well, it's 4 villagers go out and look for help, and he just follows them around, and then he follows the samurai around. It's like real life is happening before your eyes, and I'm glad I actually watched it all the way through this time. The first couple of times I tried watching it, it's rough. It's a difficult movie to get through because it is a slow burn, and it's 3.5 hours long. So set a good chunk of your day aside for this movie. And if you didn't do what I do, which is basically wake up, wash, and get a cup of coffee or whatever your caffeine choices or your energy choices, and I watched the movie. I turned it into like a 4.5 hour movie because I had to take breaks. It has its own intermission, but when you actually just sit and enjoy the movie, you get lost in it. You feel like you're there, and you feel like you're with these people, and you feel what they're feeling. Kurosawa is just a master with the camera. The way he uses it, a lot of his shots are just kind of stills, and then those stills become like pans, or go from a still to following whoever's in frame. One that works out perfectly, which I think a lot of times today would simply be a cut. This is towards the end of the film. The bandits attack at night. I think it's at night. And one of the villagers, in the confusion and the commotion, kills one of the bandits. And you can tell he's never killed anyone before, because he has this look of shock. And actually, the first time you see it, you think he may have gotten killed because he's just shocked. Instead of just cutting to the bandit being impaled by the spear, it moves from his reaction, and it follows. I'm pretty sure it was Toshiro's character, Kikuchio. Again, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I believe it's him that's with the villager, and it says, "What's wrong?" It's like, "You killed him, good." And it's, but before you notice that, it goes from his reaction and follows all the way to the dead bandit. I just felt that was such a better reveal, and I thought at the time, like I do now, that nowadays would just be a simple cut to it, and I don't know if it would be as impactful. That's just one instance of Kurosawa's directing and use of camera. But to talk about the story itself, the villagers go out to find samurai, and the one part I really like about it, they have a village elder they call Granddad, and they go to him, and he tells them that, well, the village is kind of split. There's people that want to fight, and there's people that just want to keep things as they are because it's easier. So they go to Granddad to basically be the Solomon of them and tell him, like, what you're going to do. And he says, hire a samurai. He's like, well, we have nothing. We don't have anything to give them but food. And he says, hire hungry samurai. I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, but I found it pretty funny. Hire a hungry samurai. And that's what they go and do. Now, the first samurai they encounter is Kambei, played by Takashi Samura. I don't know why he's not getting top billing, though. It's Toshiro Mifune that does get top billing. Mifune and Kurosawa work on a bunch of movies together, and maybe that's why. Possibly they were friends first, and I guess, I don't know. Maybe I should have done a little more research into the movie. I'm giving my reaction to the movie, and this isn't a video essay, so I'm sorry they didn't do a whole lot of research into this, but Kambei is really the main, well, not really the main character, but he's the leader of the samurai. He's the first one the villagers go to and convince to help them. And then, just because how he's introduced, a younger samurai wants to become his student. The younger samurai's name is Katsushiro, played by Isao Komura. And the two of them really do find the other samurai. The villagers just kind of feed them as they do it. And the rest of the movie after that is setting up the village so they can defend it, and then defeating the bandits. The reason why it's 3.5 hours long is because you really get to sit with these characters and get to know them. And they really kind of treat it as like a couple of weeks have gone by. You really get the feel for the time period that passes. There are some cuts for big time gaps, like maybe a few hours or like the next day or something like that. But you really feel like you're there with these people. I know I said at the beginning, but I'm making an argument for why it's 3.5 hours long. Because you're with these people every step of the way. The other thing that makes this movie extremely impressive is the choreography and the stunts that are done in it. Again, if I've done research, maybe I'll know this stuff, but if no one died or got injured on this, or I mean like seriously injured on this, that's amazing. Especially with the horse work they had to do. You had multiple people on horses, the horses falling and getting back up. The horses are bucking. That's extremely dangerous. You can die from that. It's a wonder and a marvel how movies back then were able to achieve what they were able to do without CGI. And as I was watching Seven Samurai and being amazed by the stunt work in this movie, I was thinking I really would like to see a Buster Keaton film, because everyone knows this joke, or at least this stunt, where something huge falls with a hole in it, and then the person is standing in the exact spot at the exact moment when the big object with the hole in it falls, and they are perfectly fine because they're where the hole is. That was Buster Keaton. That was done with one take, and if he was in the wrong spot or something moved just enough, he would have been dead. And I'd like to see a Buster Keaton movie, and I want to get into those. I really liked Seven Samurai. It's not something I'm going to watch too often because it's 3.5 hours. I know that sounds like a criticism and a negative, but it's not. I don't know. It's not movie candy. Like, don't take this as a negative against the Marvel movies, but Marvel movies are movie candy. Seven Samurai is for people, I don't know. Well, let's not. I was gonna make it definitive, but let's not. It's not for everyone. I mean, if you're just the average moviegoer, I don't know if you're gonna like it. But if you want to get into film like I'm getting into, or if you are into film and somehow you haven't seen this movie yet, I would really recommend you see this. It's just a movie-making marvel. And great storytelling. I mean, it inspired Magnificent Seven, which came out only like 6 years later. I'd like to get into more westerns too, because samurai films and westerns seem to be very similar. Those are my thoughts on Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. Next week is Yojimbo, also starring Toshiro Mifune. Sorry again if I'm mispronouncing that. I've not seen that one. And then after that is Sanjuro, which is actually, I thought Yojimbo was the character's name, but when I was looking up other things that Toshiro's been in, it's actually, I think Sanjuro is his surname. I don't know. I'm going to watch Yojimbo and I'm going to watch Sanjuro. Those are the next two films. I'm looking forward to them because I really liked Seven Samurai. I think I'm really going to like the next two films. If you have seen Seven Samurai, let me know in the comments below your thoughts and what other samurai or western films or just other classic films that you would recommend that I watch and you would like to know my thoughts on, because I'd like to know your thoughts on them too. If you like what you saw, like it. If you think other people like it, share it. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and live your imagination.